Hello, my name is Richard the Dungeon Crawler. Would you like to set sail for Undiscover Island? This island is filled with both human and non-human tribes. We'll need to hack through dense jungles that could be filled with monsters, including dragons. So there'll be plenty of combat. This dense jungle could hide many temples, which will lead to exciting dungeon crawls. The adventure was rated 16 in Dungeon Magazine's 30 Greatest Adventures of All Time. Personally, what spoke to me about this module was a sense of discovery. If you'd like to take a closer look at X1, the Isle of Dread, then step inside my dungeon. Next up, I'm working on a review of the Hidden Shrine of Tomoa-chan because I want to get some use out of my Aztec death whistle. If you want to show your support for the channel, all you have to do is make sure you're subscribed. This will help me bring new content to our community. The Isle of Dread was included in the D&D expert set that I purchased. I only needed rules to get me beyond level 3, so I really didn't know what to expect. I was fresh off the introductory adventure and Keep on the Borderland. So to me, Dungeons & Dragons meant, dungeon crawling. But when I read the intro to the module, I knew this was a new type of adventure. The harrowing ocean voyage was exhausting enough. Now you are faced with a dark island that could be filled with cannibals. A tattered ship's log is your only clue to the riches that lie beyond the isle's quiet shores. The Isle of Dread is a wilderness adventure designed for use with a D&D expert set. The module includes both a wilderness and dungeon encounters, complete with maps, new monsters, and background for further adventures. The expert adventure is a shipborne adventure through the wilderness and even with dungeon crawls, so I was sold. But this adventure starts out pretty basic. You're only told on a previous adventure you find fine parchment paper that can be sold for a good price. But unfortunately, a rainstorm soaks the paper, so the party spreads out the paper by a fire, and the heat from the fire brings out secret writings. The secret writing is part of a ship's log that includes an incomplete map. The log explains that the ship was caught in a storm and landed in an island chain where they traded with a friendly village. The village is cut off from the rest of the island by a massive wall. The villagers explain that this wall was built by their ancestors. They explain that somewhere on the central plateau is an ancient city. This city was also built by their ancestors. The villagers tell the party that the city should have untold amount of treasure and riches. Only 5 crew members survived the storm, so they could not adventure within the Isle of Dread. The crew did survey the island from the boat with the expectations to return to the island with a proper adventure party. This is all the information you're given. The first step of the party is to find a way onto the island. Maybe they already have a boat. If not, they'll have to scrape together funds to purchase a second-hand boat. If that's still not enough money, maybe they'll have to pool their resources and find a shady rideshare to the island. Isle of Dread was a new kind of adventure for me. On previous episodes, we discussed the dungeon crawl. In this type of adventure, the party can systematically proceed through rooms and chambers in a dungeon. In a wilderness adventure, it is much more open-ended. You can think of the wilderness adventure like an action role-playing game. Something like Assassin's Creed or Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. In these adventures, it is a much more open area to explore. As you move through the countryside, the map opens up around you. In this adventure, players are given a blank map and it is up to them to adventure and explore. The locations are set. For instance, there's locations marked for temples and villages. It is up to the players to find the locations, if they travel that way, which might be a problem since a party needs to stumble on these locations themselves, so a bit of clues would be helpful to point the party in the right way. As a party travels hex by hex, there's a chance that they will encounter wandering monsters, and this adventure has some extremely powerful wandering monsters. One section of the island even has multiple types of dragons in the Wandering Monsters table. Why do I rate this module so high in Richard's unofficial list of BECMI modules? Well, I think the main reason is because it's so open-ended, but it's more than that. It provides enough setting information to make an exciting adventure and provides game masters the bones to run an efficient sandbox. The Dungeon Master is given enough background information that allows players to make the adventure their own. BECMI had a few other sandbox adventures, but X1 Isle of Dread is by far my favorite. Like many video game RPGs, the adventure gives players plenty of opportunity for interesting side activities. For instance, I remember spending hours playing chocobo racing and blitzball and not really working on the main quest. For instance, in the Isle of Dread, the party can discover a gold mine, but to get the gold out, it will need to be mined. Does the party want to set up a gold mine? If so, they will need to hire miners from the mainland. Or maybe they want to become monster hunters. The island is full of strange and unique monsters. These monsters will fetch a good price if they can be captured and sold at a city. They can also try to get rid of the pirates in the area. These are just few of the examples of the interesting side activities in this adventure. I know when we played this adventure for the first time, we spent a lot of time messing around with these side activities. We were just off keep on the borderland, so we didn't have money for our own boat, so we spent a lot of time fighting the pirates and borrowing one of their ships, and we planned on returning it. I promise. Another reason Isle of Dread is so iconic is the new monsters. New monsters bring life to adventure, and Isle of Dread has plenty epic new monsters. One new monster, and a popular one today, is the Rakasta. These are neutral creatures, which are cat-like humanoids. They walk erect and are covered in fur. They can use human weapons, but prefer to use their metal war claws. What kicks them up a notch in the cool factor is that they ride saber-toothed tigers. Well, I'm not sure how I feel about a feline riding another feline, though. Another new creature is a chaotic Kapru. They have human-like torsos, but their arms end in clawed hands. They have 3 tails, and they use them for one powerful attack. Lastly, let me describe the mouth. The module says that Kapru is a race of heat-loving amphibians with great intelligence and power. Each has a smooth head, large eyes, and a tentacle sphinctered mouth. Yikes, a sphinctered mouth? That's pretty hideous. The Urania terrified me. These are intelligent spiders about the size of a small horse. They have a massive lump on its back, which is a creature's brain. Due to this large, hideous brain, the creature can even cast magic user spells. Imagine a chaotic spider with a sleep spell. What blew my mind when I first adventured within the Isle of Dread was dinosaurs. The new monster section includes many dinosaurs, including the mighty Allosaurus. This was years before Jurassic Park, so there really wasn't much dinosaurs in live action. To me, though, I thought of the Isle of Dread as a Dungeons & Dragons setting for the Land of the Lost. The Land of the Lost was a TV show from the 70s. The story revolves around a family trapped in an alternate universe that is inhabited with prehistoric creatures. These creatures were filmed using stop motion, which I think is still pretty cool. I touch on it throughout this review, but my favorite thing about this adventure is diversity. There is a diverse amount of intelligent creatures, and I only touched on a few, but there is a diverse playstyle. When the adventurers have been hacking through hexes for a while, they might want a solid dungeon crawl. The party can find the central plateau. This is where the riches lie. Here, they will find the center of the once mighty Kapru Empire. The party will discover a large, multi-level temple, which is a sweet, sweet dungeon crawl. The temple can make a great end to this adventure. The module includes many, multiple detailed maps. Of course, the original module comes with the great pull-out cover. For these reasons, I would give X1 Isle of Dread a solid 8.5. Let me know in the comments how you would rate this, and if you have any favorite stories from when you first adventured within the Isle. The PDF is available through DriveThruRPG, but another way to get it is through Goodman Games' Adventure Reincarnated book series. This book contains high-resolution reprints from the original module. You also get some cool stories of the origin of the creation of the module. There is a 5e conversion and updated maps if that's your thing. I didn't see any new copies of this now, so you might want to check the secondhand market. Sincerely, thank you for watching all the way through. Please hit the like button, because that would tell YouTube you like what you saw. Also, let me know in the comments if you have a favorite adventure and why. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and you'll be notified when the next adventure is ready. And I'll see everybody on the next dungeon crawl.